Welcome to today's edition of SML 8 Daily News. We're bringing you the latest developments from around the world. In today's broadcast, we'll cover several pressing and controversial topics making headlines. We begin in the United States, where President Donald Trump has enacted significant tariffs on key trading partners. On Saturday, the president signed into effect substantial tariffs targeting Mexico, Canada, and China, fulfilling a prominent campaign promise to prioritize American interests in global trade. The administration asserts that these measures are designed to protect domestic industries and address long-standing trade imbalances. However, critics argue that such unilateral actions may provoke retaliatory measures, potentially igniting a trade war that could disrupt global markets and strain diplomatic relations. The international community watches closely as the implications of these tariffs unfold. In response to the U.S. tariffs, Canadian political leaders have voiced strong objections. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, speaking at a news conference in Vancouver, condemned President Trump's decision to impose a 25% tariff on Canadian imports. Poilievre emphasized the potential harm to Canadian industries and called for a strategic response to safeguard the nation's economic interests. The Canadian government is currently evaluating its options, which may include implementing countermeasures to protect its economy from the adverse effects of these U.S. tariffs. Turning our attention to Europe, Germany's parliament has recently rejected a draft bill aimed at tightening immigration controls. This legislative proposal emerged in the aftermath of recent knife attacks that have heightened public concern over security and immigration policies. The bill, introduced by the CDU-CSU opposition party and supported by the far-right Alternative for Deutschland, sought to implement stricter measures on immigration. However, it failed to secure a majority in the Bundestag, reflecting deep divisions within German politics on this contentious issue. The rejection of the bill underscores the ongoing debate in Germany over balancing national security concerns with humanitarian commitments. In Australia, the nation is grappling with a series of antisemitic incidents that have alarmed communities and leaders alike. Sydney's eastern suburbs have reported multiple cases of anti-Semitic vandalism, with offensive graffiti defacing cars, garages, and homes. These acts have occurred amidst a broader context of rising anti-Semitic sentiment, prompting widespread condemnation. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has linked recent pro-Palestine protests to the surge in anti-Semitic graffiti, calling for decisive action to address this disturbing trend. The Australian government and law enforcement agencies are under increasing pressure to respond effectively to these hate crimes and to reassure affected communities. Meanwhile, in the realm of media and defense, the United States Department of Defense has announced a significant shift in its media access policies. The Pentagon's new annual media rotation program will reassign office spaces traditionally held by prominent outlets such as the New York Times, NBC, National Public Radio, and Politico. These spaces will now be allocated to the New York Post, Breitbart News, One America News Network, and the Huffington Post, starting February 14th. The Pentagon asserts that this initiative aims to broaden access and diversify the perspectives represented within its press corps. However, the move has drawn criticism from some of the displaced outlets, which argue that it may impede journalistic coverage and limit public access to critical information. This development highlights the ongoing tensions between the government and the press regarding transparency and freedom of the press. In the United Kingdom, Labour Party leader Keir Starmer faces internal challenges as members of his inner circle express concerns about his leadership approach. Reports indicate that Starmer has struggled to clearly articulate his motivations for seeking power, leading to perceptions of ambiguity and a lack of ideological direction. His leadership style, characterized by meticulousness and a focus on competency, has drawn both praise and criticism. Some party insiders suggest that this approach has resulted in internal conflicts and strategic missteps, raising questions about the party's direction under his leadership. As the Labour Party navigates these internal dynamics, its ability to present a unified front to the electorate remains a subject of significant interest. These stories represent a snapshot of the complex and often contentious issues unfolding around the world today. As events continue to develop, we remain committed to providing you with timely and comprehensive coverage. Thank you for joining us on SML 8 Daily News. Stay tuned for more in-depth analysis and reporting.